Socrates, the father of Western philosophy. Born into a working-class family, Socrates made a name for himself as a brave soldier before beginning his career that he would become best known for, a teacher. The legendary aspect of Socrates begins when one of his students hiked up to visit the Oracle of Delphi. Usually when you ask for prophecies from oracles, you get riddles like, "Under 4 moons you will find the 5th," and you're left to ponder why you even came. But upon asking the oracle who was the wisest person in all of Athens, the oracle simply stated, Socrates. Socrates found this hard to believe, and began a quest to prove the oracle wrong. He consulted with politicians and poets, and ultimately concluded that the oracle was correct. Socrates realized that his wisdom lay in his awareness of his own ignorance, whereas everyone else knew nothing but thought otherwise. "The only thing I know," said Socrates, "is that I know nothing." This belief that he was the wisest person in Athens was viewed by the ruling class as not the most modest of claims. Eventually, as his following grew, he was charged with corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods, which he defended himself against in court. But as this was a court case not entirely built on an honest situation, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. Upon receiving his sentence, he was granted the Athenian custom of offering an alternative punishment. In exchange for death, a reasonable offer would be exile, which likely would have been accepted. But Socrates couldn't bear to leave his beloved Athens, and also thought that offering exile would be an admission of guilt. He instead offered to pay 1 single mina, as that's all he possessed. 1 mina may have bought a poem or a manuscript of a play, and upon hearing the shock of the crowd, he offered that maybe his friends could cover 30 minas in his place, which would make a decent-sized dowry for a bride, but no one would consider an appropriate alternative to a death sentence. Thus, he was sentenced to death and lived the remainder of his life in jail, ignoring his friends' pleas to escape, while also lecturing on philosophy. He drank hemlock and passed away while discussing the immortality of the human soul. This potentially enlightened being left no writings of his own, and what we know of him is passed down from his students, Plato and Xenophon. We can discuss more about the philosophy of Socrates in part 2, but in the meantime, please share this with anyone who may find this interesting.